Hello again, race fans, and welcome to another round, another day, actually another night here as the US IndyCar League takes battle here at the California Speedway, known as Auto Club Speedway out in Fontana, California. It's the California 190 presented by StickQuik. Race number 9 of 12. We're going to be doing 95 laps around this high-speed oval here in California. And of course, my name is Trevor Greenfield. Been with you for a couple of seasons now, calling all the action for the US IndyCar League. We get set for another high-flying day of action here on VirtualRacing.Network. As I mentioned, so great to have you along with us as we get set for a whole bunch of fun drafting and passing and all of that good stuff. But in order to race, you must first qualify, and that's what we are doing down here on the track. So let's go ahead and jump down live trackside, and we will see if we can pick up some of these cars out here on the track. So hopefully all of our audio working very well today. Made a couple of changes over the week, and hopefully improving some of that audio separation and quality for you out there. Of course, broadcasting each and every week here on VirtualRacing.Network in ultra high definition 4K resolution. So let us know over in the VirtualRacing.Network chat room what's going on. I see they're letting us know, yes, the music was overpowering the voice. Perhaps it was too loud. Perhaps we just wanted some really good bumper music to get things going, get your blood moving, but something we'll look at for the future. In the meantime, it is Howard Livingston, as we see Mauro Ramirez there on the screen. Howard Livingston going fastest here at California Speedway with his qualifying effort, and now Jason Lowe getting in a fast lap here. Yet to see our fastest drivers take their first official laps here in qualifying for today's race. Again, round 9, the Auto Club California 190, presented by StickQuik. As always, great partner to the series. And we see, just as we're looking here at Graham Bunyan, the two-time series champ and series leading driver at the moment, continuing to make his mark on the series, just getting in a time that is exactly the same down to the 100th of a second is Graham Bunyan over Jason Lowe. But we'll see whether or not Bunyan can get in a faster lap this time. Usually second lap is not the fastest unless you plan it that way, and does not look like he'll go faster on the second lap. A couple drivers yet to make their way around, and it's David Strid. Well, let's go ahead and jump on board with Strid and see what he can do. He's one of the few in the field that could possibly eclipse Bunyan and Lowe's time. You see Bull slotting into 4th at the moment, and Iñigo Mardones starting in 5th, Ensch 6th, and Ramirez 7th, just a 10th of a second separating 1st from 7th at the moment. And Strid purple in sector 2. You know what that means. Well, it wasn't fastest overall. I think he was maybe setting up that lap to be a little bit faster on lap 2. We'll see whether he can do it. You're watching live right here whether or not Strid can take this position from Bowles, who sits in front of him in 4th. He's a little bit slower in sector 1 there. I don't think he's going to do it. And across the start-finish stripe, he does not do it. So Strid will be starting 5th. And we still have a couple of drivers who have not yet taken to the track, as we see Manuel Gomez Esteban finishing his he's actually completed 2 full laps now. So we are just about to go to our official results, and indeed they're showing up on the screen before we can even tell them we want them. But there they are. It's the official qualifying results. Graham Bunyan, your pole winner here in Fontana, with that 32.159 time. Jason Lowe just behind, 4/1000ths of a second. Super. It's 004 starting 0.004 back from Graham Bunyan. If you're into numbers, that next number is pretty interesting too, with Howard Livingston racing for the Care Camps organization, and he'll be starting third with a 0.044 time back from Jason Lowe. So very quick times here as we are getting ready, getting set to go for the California 190. StickQuik.com. Great to have you here. And Julian Altena checking in with us over in the YouTube chat room, letting us know he unfortunately didn't make today's event. Julian has a tendency, he's a great racer, and he's not from the United States, so he has to plan for these races just like a number of these different racers in the field, kind of in the middle of the night, or it's at a strange time for different people around the world. Out here in the West Coast United States, it's 7 o'clock in the morning, bright and early. We're up before the sun to do this broadcast, and it's a good thing it's nighttime out on the track, but it's a little odd to have it. It's a little jet laggy to have it presented in such a way sometimes. But for Julian letting us know that, yeah, he unfortunately had to take a shower, and so he missed the race. Now, you can just imagine a real-life IndyCar racer, you know, Alex Rossi today missing the race because he had to take a shower and forgot about the race. It happens, though. It's a serious league here in the US IndyCar League, but not too serious. A lot of drivers popping in for the occasional race and having a great time. And, of course, we know this driver right here who's going to be at the front of the field. It's Graham Bunyan. And so we'll take a look here at the points as they stand coming into today's event. Well, as it has been all season and for a couple of seasons, it's really no surprise at this point. Graham Bunyan, if you don't know that name already, you should. He's going down in the history books every single race that he completes. We get ready to go green here in just a minute, but you can see a couple of drivers still climbing up in the points and a couple of tight points battles in there for first and second. Bunyan and Strid, that is a points battle to watch over the next couple of races to see whether Strid can perhaps take this championship out of the hands of Bunyan, and that would be a heck of a thing to do to stop him from matching that feat that Jason Lowe had done, 3 times champion here. And, of course, Howard Livingston, Jason Lowe fighting for that third spot. And further down, you see Dan Ensch actually climbing a couple of spots there with his recent performances. So we are set to go here. Make sure we get the tower up there for you. 13 cars set to do battle here, though I don't think Danny Alt is going to make it.
Green.
And we are green. Graham Bunyan leads us down to the start-finish for the first time today, and they're already stacking up 3 wide behind. It's Livingston on the inside. Bowles now just behind Livingston there in the red and silver car. The red, black, and white, that's Bowles on the inside. The fuchsia and yellow car of Jason Lowe, the 3-time champ, just behind. So they get into position for where they want to be drafting. As you can see just a little bit further back, Strid sliding up very close to the nose of Jason Lowe. And this is exactly what Graham Bunyan would want to see. A bunch of cars moving around behind and changing air very quickly. And there is a big incident behind. We've got multiple drivers involved, including Julian Altena, who did make today's race, and Mike West. David Strid also involved in this incident. We will have to jump back and take a look at what happened. This was a big one here. So we go back and we look at Strid. Strid just getting up into the wall, and that causing, I think, a stack up for several other drivers. We'll see if we can go back here. Strid had just been going backwards. We'll see if we can tell. Now, this is Ensch down to the low side on Strid. And we'll see if we can tell. And there, one of the drivers, I think that was Iñigo Mardones coming up the track there. We'll see if we can check this one more time here. Now we'll look from outside the cockpit, and indeed it's Mardones drifting a bit high, and I don't think Strid saw him, and that was unfortunately too late for a number of drivers. See what it looked like from Mike West's point of view. Here he is, and oh, it just gets collected into the back of Altena. Altena kind of slowing up a little bit there, but no place to go. We'll look from standpoint of Altena. Imagine it's not going to be a favorable one there as he gets taken from behind and spun around into the wall. Now, most of this damage is going to be repairable, and I don't think he will have lost a lap. So Altena letting us know he somehow made it into the race. And that is good news for all of us. Unfortunately, not the start that he would have wanted. So, number of these drivers coming down, taking service as you see. Altena, a little difficult to get that thing stopped, pointed directly forward. And you can see now forming back at the front, it is Bunyan. Livingston now climbing a spot, and Ryan Bowles there in third spot to get going again here in just a moment. So while we can, because who knows if we're going to get another caution, why don't we go ahead and talk about this awesome device. Hey, here it is. It's the StickQuik. You probably haven't heard about it before unless you've been watching these broadcasts here on VirtualRacing.Network. But this is the coolest thing you don't yet have in your house or in your shop. Look at that on the side of the refrigerator. What's going on there? Are they using tape to stick those up? Why, no, it's the StickQuik. Yes, that's right. You go to StickQuik.com and you can see a lot more use cases of what people are doing with these things. They're so useful for commercial applications, industrial, and certainly household uses as well. You can, there's a great example. Have it in your backyard during the summer, and you'll have all of your tools handy, whether you're going to be barbecuing or you're going to be gardening. Keep everything handy there in your car. Have your vape right there ready to go. It's super easy to get organized, and this is the time to do it. First of the year, start the year right. It's January. It's almost February. You're not even organized yet. Get yourself some StickQuiks and organize your life. This is the way to do it right here. Look at all of those neatly organized vape liquid cartridges and vape pens. And, you know, here's a toolbox. This is maybe more of what we're looking at here as racers. But look how clean and organized that is. They're even color-coded. So if you go to StickQuik.com, you will find it there, and you will find a package for yourself to pick up. Might pick up a couple different colors. Send them to your friends, and you know where to get them. Tell them US IndyCar League sent you, and they will be happy about that. StickQuik.com for more. Get them today. Get 5, get 10. I mean, I don't think there's a limit. And they're made of silicone. They're heavy duty. They're resistant, just like Graham Bunyan, who leads us back to the green flag here on the start of lap 6. He's very slow to come to the flag. But here we go. We're getting rolling again. It's Bunyan out in front at Fontana. He builds his speed up. Reaching over 220 miles per hour here in what is essentially the desert of Southern California. For those of you that know the Inland Empire well, It's quite a warm place to be. Last time I was at an IndyCar race in Fontana, it was well over 100 degrees before the start. But you don't have that problem here at night, as we see Ryan Bowles chopping the nose, trying to take that air away from Howard Livingston there in the Care Camps machine. And so watching Bowles coming forward, teammate to Graham Bunyan up there, who is just in front. Now Bunyan and Bowles at the point, going through turn 2 and headed onto the backstretch here. We're working lap number 8 of round number 9 for the US IndyCar League. And there he goes to the front. It's Bowles trying to get around possibly Graham Bunyan, but again, their teammates, they're probably talking on the radio right now and trying to communicate how they want to run this and possibly try to break away from the others. Now, one of the things that you can do to great effect with these Indy cars is to draft swap. And that may be what the intention eventually is for the drivers to swap and perhaps walk away off the front of this. They've already moved 0.6 of a second away from Howard Livingston. And look at that, after a first lap incident, I'm sorry, not a first lap incident, but an opening race incident, Julian Altena recovering and currently now in 4th place racing for Velocity Online Racing. So my co-commentator from last season of a different league, for those of you that want to see it, some of the opening races, you can check out the Prime Meridian Racing League. Very talented young Dutch man out there on the track in 4th place at the moment, but not for long. It's up to 3rd. Altena taking the high line around Howard Livingston. Easier said than done, making his charge forward. Altena now moves up into 2nd, taking that spot from Bowles, coming forward in a hurry. So we switch to the wrong camera and back to the onboard here with Altena. What's it like to ride at over 220 miles an hour with 2 of the best IndyCar racers in front of you? This is exactly it. How do you get by if you're Altena? Do you hang back and save a little bit of fuel? What would be your goal? Or do you just go up there and try and take the lead and show them who's boss? Well, it's all strategy to play out here, as we've got about another 80 laps to go. And Altena now to the low side on Bowles and Bunyan. He'll go swinging by. That's Julian Altena now up into the point. Will he get credit for leading the lap, or will Bunyan try to make the move back on him? I know that Altena is basically disrupting whatever plan Bunyan and Bowles might have had at this point, because Altena is not a regular driver here in the series, but this is part of the spiciness of the US IndyCar League. There's no entry fee. If you know how to drive an IndyCar like Julian Altena does, hey, you can come right on out here and take the fight to Graham Bunyan and Ryan Bowles, a couple of the regulars who have shown their mastery in these cars. Will we see a battle here between Graham Bunyan and Julian Altena? I think we are, as Bunyan now goes to the front and Altena splits the 2 teammates. So we expect a lot of this, and oddly enough, we are not seeing David Strid up there. It must have taken an extra little bit of time to get that car repaired. So he's currently back a lap now, 1 lap down, I believe. No, not quite a lap down. I apologize for that. It's a little glitch the way that the timing and scoring is working, but Bunyan now takes the lead once again. So these 2 jockeying at the front. Will this trio here be able to walk away from Howard Livingston, who's currently slipping about a second back? Well, that's not too far to keep that draft, but if these 3 keep staying faster than the rest of the group, then they will, in fact, be walking away and make this into a 3 or possibly 2-car battle. But you can see the top cars all just separated by about 4 seconds all the way back to 9th place after that yellow flag. So we start lap 17, and it is Bunyan in front of Altena. But for how long? Altena has not been ridiculously patient here. So we wait to see. And there goes Bowles by Altena. Perhaps Altena using up that car a little early. So now Altena slipping back into 3rd spot. And will he fall into the clutches of the rest of the competition? Now it's Bowles back up to the front. And just like that, it's Bunyan back up to the front. So these two drivers working with each other, trying to swap that draft. And here comes Bowles again, back on Bunyan. Again, anything they can do now to try to work with each other and try and perhaps move away from the rest of the competition, but it doesn't look like they are making very much progress on that at all. So we continue here, lap 20, and it's Bowles and Bunyan at the front of this one. Julian Altena has crashed in the opening laps, not his doing at all, got taken out, but somehow got that damage repaired under the yellow, is back out there with a fully fixed machine. He's already been back up into the lead, making quite a shock to Bunyan and Bowles, I imagine, but Bunyan and Bowles back in control here at the front of this one, 20 laps into this 95 lapper at Fontana. Hope you're enjoying it. Fixing a little bit of details behind the scenes. Don't worry about it. You'll never see it. There's Bunyan back up to the front. They're swapping and drafting and doing the swap draft and building up speed, trying to walk away from Altena, but they just can't do it. Altena's staying in close. I don't know if he's quite close enough to save fuel at that, at where he is at. But Altena Racing, Velocity Online Racing, trying to give it a good challenge here today. We'll see whether or not he can do anything with that 3rd spot. Here just behind is a great battle that's been going on. This is Howard Livingston and Mauro Ramirez. Howard Livingston, the regular race winner here in the US IndyCar League, running for the Care Camps organization and the Coconut Castaways down in Florida. Now, those of you that were watching the Daytona 24 Hours, you saw how cold it was down there in Florida. All those Floridians have no idea what to do when that needle gets down below freezing. It's like kryptonite to those people. But Howard getting along okay. And they may actually have to turn on a heater or something down there to stay warm. But Howard racing in 4th, trying to get that 3rd place in the championship and solidify that from Jason Lowe. So he's going to need a top 5 today. He'd really like to get a podium position, but just behind him is this hard-charging Mauro Ramirez, the American who is new to the series and has been making a name for himself, getting up into the top 5, mixing it up, taking a look at possibly getting a podium before too long, people are starting to take notice of Mauro Ramirez and his racecraft. He's qualified well in a couple of the races, and now up 3 spots here today. Is this going to be Mauro's day to be a top 5, possibly a podium finish? Going to have to get around that red, I want to say multicolored livery there, red, gray, and green livery, and I guess purple as well, for the Care Camps organization and Howard Livingston up there. It's going to be a long way around, as we've been seeing at the front, with Altena unable to get by. But fastest lap of the race that time, Julian Altena, 31.96. There it is. So Altena's still hanging in that draft and getting some good speed out of it. So Altena here in the 71, watching intently as in front of him, and there you can see Bunyan now into the pits. Whoops, tried to get on board with him, but as he was dropping down, we were missing it. But there is Bunyan into the pits. Beautiful blue and black machine. So perhaps pitting a little bit early here, but perhaps to get on sync with a pit strategy in particular. The Australian knows what he is doing, and so yes, indeed, now we're seeing Bowles himself making his pit entry. Looks like he's getting woed up plenty early, and there's Dan Ensch. We haven't been talking about him at all for the ALZ.org Last Lap Motorsports machine. But there he makes his way down pit lane. And by the way, great news coming out of that Last Lap Motorsports family. I think very shortly there will be an announcement of a new primary sponsor for that team. I know because I'm on it. I can't really talk too much about it. And there he is as well, Mr. StickQuik. Well, there's a chance to focus on him. He's back in the field for the Richard Kelbaugh fans. TeamStickQuik.com. Racing hard, and he's had a string of great races, so great to see Richard back in action, and hopefully gonna get a top 5 here today. We'll see how it all works out. You never know with these races like this and cautions, etc. So he takes his service, and look at who's in the lead. Julian Altena. And I say that like it's some big surprise. Not a surprise at all. Great to see yet another new driver finding some success here in the US IndyCar League. And once again, just showing you that it is a possible thing to come out here and challenge Bunyan, challenge Jason Lowe, and the rest. So Jason Lowe hanging out, racing for Rescue Ranch and still staying out there on the track. He's going to pit just behind Altena. So here we take a look at the pit lane, and of course we got the wrong camera. There we go, as everybody streams into the pits. There you see those 3 drivers, 1, 2, 3 coming in. That was, I believe, David Strid. We have Gomez, Esteban, and Altena. There's Altena now in, going up on jacks, taking service. And also Jason Lowe in, Manuel Gomez, Esteban, and Julian, as I mentioned, in the pits. And so for a moment, it was Iñigo Mardones, another driver we haven't been talking too much about, but the Spaniard, always exciting to watch here in the US IndyCar League, racing for Necky Racing Team, proud Spanish team, operating, doing a lot of Indy fixed races. It was my pleasure to call both Iñigo and mostly his teammates in those fixed races that were happening on Thursdays this last season. We're not doing that again this season, but who knows what the future might bring. Speaking of which, here at VirtualRacing.Network, if you're enjoying this race, we do appreciate you out there watching, and make sure to subscribe. You know, it's just that big red button down there. Hit that subscribe button if you're not already part of the VirtualRacing.Network family, of which we've now grown to over 200. We look back, that was quite close there between Dan Ensch and I believe that's David Strid, who's just in front of him, but no, I'm sorry, that's Mike West, excuse me, who's just in front of him and is a lap down. But Ensch trying to work around Mike West, and just in front of him is Julian Altena, now running in 4th place. As our software appears that it's decided it didn't want to show up anymore. So, you know, it can be a little temperamental. Sometimes we just, yeah, well, give it its time. It, you know, needs a little care and attention. So we go back. No idea why it's not showing at this point, but we'll keep you informed. Graham Bunyan leading here. And Fontana, Bowles in 2nd, Livingston in 3rd. And Altena now moving forward into that 3rd spot right around Livingston on the low side. So while we try to get that back together for you here and get the overlay back up and functioning, we do appreciate our paid subscription to StickQuik Gaming, who provides our overlay. And we haven't had a problem for a bunch of weeks, but for some reason it's decided it does not want to show itself on the screen any longer. So we will continue to work on that. But Bunyan leads Ryan Bowles here at the front with working on lap number 37. It's Bunyan, Bowles, and Altena, your top 3. So here we go. Bowles still working on the high side of Ryan Bowles, working on the high side of Graham Bunyan, and not quite able to pull out from Julian Altena, who is running a very close 3rd. And again, we will try to get the rest of this information up on the screen for you as quick as possible. We have all of our very best engineers working on the problem at the moment. But as we continue to watch here, it is Bowles tracking Bunyan with Altena running in 3rd, Howard Livingston running in 4th. And Livingston that time with a 32:07, so a very fast lap for him. In fact, that is the fastest lap of the race just now, set by Howard Livingston. 32:05 is his best time. Of course, the best time was actually set by Julian Altena, 31:96. So very close to the fastest laps here is being set by Livingston. And we continue to work on our overlay and see if we can figure out why that is not coming up. Once again, you gotta love the beauties of doing live broadcasting, especially when things just decide they're gonna go out on themselves. But here we go, continuing, and in fact, it's Julian Altena who's joined this fight at the front. He was in the lead, but now Bunyan has gotten back by, and Bowles as well. So just as our cameras were looking away, Now it's a 3-car battle once again for this lead. And we continue to watch on. So continuing here on lap number 43, it is Bunyan, Bowles, and Altena who are fighting it out at the front of this one. It's been a really good one so far. We've seen the teammates there of Bowles and Bunyan able to walk away. We thought it might be a Strid and Bunyan battle today walking away, but in fact it was those two teammates. And Strid actually having difficulty now, shown a couple of laps down, but Altena making it quite a fight here, running in third and looking for that Velocity Online Racing team to maybe take victory. He looks to the low side on Bowles again, trapping Bowles just behind Bunyan. That time with the fastest Sector 2 time of the race and matching his fastest lap of the race thus far. Altena now on the high side. Bowles and Bunyan go by on the low side, and these drivers just swapping the draft here. Definitely not intentionally. I think Bowles and Bunyan are working on a team strategy, and Altena is just interrupting that strategy. But we do appreciate your patience here as we continue to try to work to see if we can get our race graphics back up for you here. And finally we do. Indeed, it's a OBS problem and not an SDK problem, and there you go. That's as much technicality as you need to know. We've got a three-way battle in first, and we've got our overlay back, and that's the main thing. Here we go. Graham Bunyan, Altena, and Bowles battling it out at the front of this race. Who will it be? Well, we still got a whole bunch of laps to figure it out. Can you believe it? Still 40-plus laps to go. We are just halfway. And some exciting racing happening at the front of this one. The StickQuik 190 from Auto Club Speedway, and you're watching live here on VirtualRacing.Network. If you're over in the YouTube chat watching, make sure to say hello. If you don't have permission to chat, it's because you're not subscribed. It just takes 1 second. Just go over there, click that red button, as we see Bunyan now diving into the pits. Very late on the brakes, but I think he got it slowed in time. And there we can see also another driver pitting. I believe that's Mike West. And there we have David Strid, I think was going a little bit slow, but back to Mike West, who's also on pit lane there. So that means that we expect Ryan Bowles anytime into the pits. And here he comes indeed on cue. Very late onto the brakes. Bowles bringing it in for service here on lap 50. And that will give over the lead to Julian Altena, and just behind you can see the car of Howard Livingston right there. I think Livingston thought he might be able to pop up there and score an extra point for leading a lap, but not so, says not so, says Altena, but then he lets him by. There you go, have a lap. But Altena doing great on fuel conservation, able to push this car a little bit further than Bunyan and Bowles were, but he spent a little bit, I think he spent a bit more time behind. That very colorful car of Livingston continuing to circulate here. Will he be in the lead for the start of this lap? Yes, he will. So there's your credit. Lucky number 13, Howard Livingston, getting a point for leading a lap here in Fontana. It's really beautiful to see under the lights here. Sold out crowd for the 9th straight race in a row for the US IndyCar League. Now, I've sat up in those grandstands, and it's a pretty cool thing to do and check out these cars as they circulate the track. But tell you what, you get a pretty good seat right here on VirtualRacing.Network. We got you up and close and in the action, and I think the main thing to say is you also don't have to breathe all that air. There's been times I've been at this track where you can't even see the mountain that's in the background. And the mountain's not very far away. It's only maybe like 6, 7 miles, 8 miles away, but you can't even see that mountain a lot of days because it's so smoggy in Southern California. And I remember one time coming out to the track and it had rained the night before, and you're sitting up in the stands, and it's just amazing what you can see and how far you can see that mountain standing out quite proudly there in the background. And of course, you can also remember the Champ Car race that was canceled here one year when there was fires going on, and it was too heavy of smoke in the background. They wouldn't let people come to the race. A lot of different interesting history here over the years. The world closed course speed record, of course, set here by Gilles de Ferran before the track officially opened in 1997. And of course, back in that day, Roger Penske was just an entrant in the series. As we see Howard Livingston taking over the lead and getting into the pits here for his final stop of the day. No, not quite final stop. We got 40 more laps to go, so 2 more stops here today. They'll give over the lead to Jason Lowe, who needs that extra point in that fight with Livingston in the championship. And there you see a couple of drivers rejoining the track. Richard Kelbaugh and I believe that's Julian Altena, who are not running together for position on the track, but Lowe and Bowles are running technically together, but Lowe has yet to make his last pit stop. And Will Stearns checking in with us over in the YouTube chat room. Believe it or not, Graham Bunyan in that caution time actually checked in with us. So we've had thus far 2 of our current drivers in the race checking in with us in the chat room. So if you want to chat with the drivers live in the race, apparently that's the place to do it. Nevertheless, Bunyan letting us know that he was just so happy that he managed to avoid that wreck before. At least I believe that's Bunyan, but Aussie Racer is either Bunyan or Strid, I'm not sure. But certainly Julian letting us know that he made it in, and Will Stearns checking in, regular competitor here in the series. And we see Manuel Gomez Esteban for Super Mango, and Team Mazinger reporting in for his second to final stop. So back to Jason Lowe here, running at the front just behind Ryan Bowles, but that is not for position at the moment. It's Bowles and then Mardones, who's just now coming into the pits. See if we can get the gap times back there in the tower. There we go. So you can see exactly how far the drivers are around. In fact, why don't we get the track map on there as well, so that you can see exactly where your favorite driver is on the track and where they might rejoin. Here comes Lowe into the pits. We'll go on board with him as he gets it slowed down. Some drivers electing to take directly to the pit box side of the pits. It's the safest. Some drivers taking the actual pit road entry. Either way, it's about the same distance, so you don't save too much time coming down the pit lane side. The good news is here on iRacing, if you hit somebody, you don't really go, you don't suffer any damage. You just go right through their car, and technically you can go right through the pace car, as those are kind of ghosted. But there on the track, here he is again. It's Graham Bunyan back out in the lead with Ryan Bowles in second, his teammate just behind, and they've managed to put a small gap, 1.7 seconds back to Altena. That could be a problem for Altena now, as he will have to try to find a way to close down that gap and stay in that draft. This is it's easier said than done sometimes, and we'll watch that gap. It's now down to 1.5 seconds, so he'll have to keep that closer than, say, 1.7 to 1.8 seconds, because once you start getting over that time period, the draft is just a little bit too much to overcome. But Altena there, you can just watch that gap time in the background. He's slowly coming to the back of Ryan Bowles once again. It's down to 1.3 seconds. So perhaps Altena will set a new fast lap for us fresh out of the pits, and with new tires catching that draft, very likely he will get a big draft on these drivers here. 1.3 seconds that gap, as the two teammates continue to trade under these sparkling lights of the California night here at Virtual Auto Club Speedway. So great to have you with us here in the new year, 2022. Hope it's going better for you than 2021 did, I think, for the rest of the world. But either way, hope you're doing well and you're out there somewhere watching this race, and not that very long 24-hour race that goodness knows why they need so much time to work it out. You just go, you know, that's why we have the Indy cars. They're so much faster. And, yeah, I mean, even 95 laps is a long time. I mean, by the time you get done with 95 laps to the Indy car going around a track like this, you're pretty much done. So you're not just sitting there going, well, I wish I had another 95 laps to go and do at Fontana. Especially if it's a little bit like your heart is in your throat, as we go on board with Graham Bunyan and watch what it's like to swap draft with Ryan Bowles, your teammate, at over 200 miles per hour. Here comes Bowles back by on the low side. Completing that pass. So these drivers now just 0.6 of a second ahead of Altena. You can see him in the mirror of Graham Bunyan. And Bunyan, I think, starting to get a little nervous that they're not doing enough to break that draft of Altena, because at the moment, without a David Zaleski in the field and without Jason Lowe up there to really present much of a challenge, as we've now got Lowe sitting on pit lane. Lowe is out of the race. Lowe has left the race, and we're not really sure. Let's see if we can go back and catch that. I don't show him. It's almost as though he is disconnected, unfortunately. So we'll go back to the live picture here. And back at the front, it is Bunyan and Bowles on the low side. And there he is, young Dutch driver, 17 years young. This young man, I try not to bring it up because, honestly, if you talk to him, he sounds like he's in his 20s and he's going to university. I'll call him the young professor because he sounds so distinguished when he does talk. But this young man has certainly proven himself. He's got a lot of great things going sim racing wise. He's part of a great team. He's doing broadcasts over on Virtual Online Racing. Velocity Online Racing, if I can get that straight. Velocity Online Race, too many virtuals. He's doing a VOR. He's got his own league, and now he's at the front of the US IndyCar League race, leading regular competitors and winners Bowles and Bunyan. This is a three-way battle here for this lead spot. Who will it be? Got about another just under 30 laps to find out, about 25 laps to find out here. As Bunyan now slips back and Bowles again moves to the 4. And they continue to swap positions. Now, again, this is something where, honestly, it's not overly difficult, but managing all of what you have to manage to make these continual passes is, there's a lot. There's just a lot to really to adjust in the car. Now, you've got anti-roll bar front and back, weight jacker in the back. Usually the anti-roll bar is not the first thing that you're going to adjust if you're one of these drivers. It's a pretty big control and really changes how stiff, obviously, the car is in turning side to side, and that can really negatively affect the car, in making it too soft or too stiff in the front or the rear. But that weight jacker is extremely handy, and knowing how to play that weight jacker like a fiddle is where your money is made. And being able to go up just a click or two and then bring it back down is always a trick. And here we can see a concerted effort to come into the pits at exactly the same time. Graham Bunyan with Ryan Bowles just behind. They're trying to break away from Altena, and they will leave the Dutch driver out there by himself to circulate. So here we are on lap 72, just 24 to go. And Altena now slowing down to get into the pits as well. And here, one of those drivers getting ready to light it off. And so Altena makes his way down to the pit, or down to the pits, and there is a yellow flag. We are looking to see, I believe it's Ryan, is it Ryan Bowles who's had an incident? Bowles has been passed by Richard Kelbaugh, but we're not finding where this incident is. Altena just exiting the pits, Mauro Ramirez coming in. And this is going to put Howard Livingston and Dan Ensch at the front of the field. Now, they haven't made their pit stop yet. Still don't have Jason Lowe back in the race. Strid has dropped down to 11th. And perhaps it was Mardones who had a moment. But we do not have confirmation as to who caused that yellow. It must have been Ryan Bowles because he has dropped severely down the order. So let's see if we can figure this one out. There we have Ryan Bowles, very slow. So this is the yellow flag coming out, and no telling where it happened. Again, it does kind of look like, as we see Ryan Bowles back there very slow. Why don't we go ahead and back it up here on screen, see if we can tell whether he was involved. And he was indeed. There is your incident, spinning as he leaves the pits behind his team leader, Graham Bunyan, just drifting up onto the racing surface itself, and that sends the car right around, and just enough to bring out the yellow flag. So, wowee, what a change of events. We go back to the live picture here, and that will, as I mentioned, that it's quite a change because these drivers already have their strategy figured out. Bunyan and Bowles were working to create space between themselves and Julian Altena, and now this will solidly put Altena, Livingston, Ensch Gomez Esteban and Richard Kelbaugh all in position to perhaps take this victory. And that is, as I mentioned, that is not what Bunyan would want to see at all, as he was already working on minimizing the amount of drivers that could possibly pass him here. And now this actually won't do a lot of good for David Strid unless he can get one of those laps back in that title hunt, trying to take away some points from Graham Bunyan in this championship, because Strid has not had a great day all the way back at the back of the field and down multiple laps here. But we can see Kelbaugh taking service. I think he did not take service earlier and had stayed out, as Ensch did, as a number of others did. So Kelbaugh continuing down pit lane. Mr. StickQuik, as he is known, racing for Team StickQuik.com. Always good to get a little bit of extra screen time in for the series sponsor. Graham Bunyan continuing here in the lead with 20 to go. That, you know what that means, everybody, if you're watching. It's going to be an 18-lap shootout. That's basically what this means. So get ready and get your favorite beverage in hand, as this one could be a lot of fun at the end. Now you see Iñigo Mardones, the first car a lap down. Now, I don't believe Bunyan will come into the pits, so this will, in fact, leave him out there, as the lights are off on the pace car. And the reason why I bring that up is because we've already gone enough laps that Mardones would have gotten that lap back and been circulated behind the group, but as Bunyan did not pit again, he did not get that opportunity. So we get ready to go green, and it's actually Bunyan and Altena who are your top two drivers at the moment, with Livingston in third. This says first caution. It's actually been now a couple of cautions, but we lost our timing and scoring. We had to reboot that, so
Green flag.
actually second caution of the day. But here we go, back to green. It's Bunyan leading Altena, who is actually the fourth car in line, and that's a concern for Altena because he does not want to see a large gap up here. It's already over a second, as he has to get through both of those two cars that are a lap down in front. And that's actually Howard Livingston. No, I'm sorry, that is not Howard Livingston. That is Iñigo Mardones, as I mentioned, who's up there in second place, but that is only on the track, not for position. He's trying to get that lap back, and here we can see some more movement. This is Dan Ensch and Howard Livingston battling it out there for what is third place in the race, but of course they're behind Julian Altena, and Altena still not able to overcome those couple of lap cars in front. That's really the work that he has to do, is to get up there, catch those cars, and stay with Graham Bunyan. But I think as long as that overall gap to Bunyan stays a second or so, then it shouldn't be a problem. And now you can see him slicing and dicing his way to the front. And hello, Mr. Bunyan. Altena has arrived at your back door. One thing for sure, I mean, I think I could safely say for Altena, no Fs are given. He will be glad to send it on the last lap. So I think that's just something you have to know. A lot of these drivers like Bunyan would have been out there doing fixed races and the like, and be very used to aggressive drivers who don't really have anything to lose except maybe a little tiny bit of iRating. And here in US IndyCar League, of course, none of that iRating or Safety rating is up for grabs, and this is just a one-off effort for Mr. Altena, so literally there's only one thing on the mind of Mr. Altena, and that's a big W in that broadcasted win column. Would, I'm sure, make a lot of difference, and it'll be great to be able to get an interview with Altena after the race and see what his thoughts were. Of course, stay tuned after the race for post-race interviews with our top three. So who will it be? Altena had the lead there for a moment, but Bunyan comes back on the high side. Here's Mike West working on the high side, trying to get a lap back. I think more than anything, just trying to do a little bit of favors to his teammate Graham Bunyan, Mike West is, and disrupt this young man from the Netherlands, Julian Altena, who is on a tear here today. There they run nose to tail. Your first and second as Altena tries the high line, and Graham Bunyan blocks him on that high line. There we see them as they go down the backstretch here into the night. Nice cool temperatures here. Let's take a look at that. Just 66 on the track. 6 mile an hour cross breeze. Not too much to worry about here tonight. It's been a nice cool race and not too much tire fall off. I think that's one of the benefits of doing these night races, is you just don't have that huge tire degradation and fall off. But Bunyan working with his teammate, around his teammate, trying to disrupt Altena from being able to get forward, and he's got 12 more laps to do it, make it 11. It's just 11 more laps to go, 11 clicks around this 2-mile circuit. Who will it be? The established championship leader, Graham Bunyan? Will it be Jason? I'm sorry, it won't be Jason Lowe. He's out of the race. He let us know that he had a power interruption, which is too bad. Of course, he's one of those Florida drivers who perhaps is having some weather, some disruptions, and that's one of the parts of racing. You never know when an electric gremlin will creep up. Here comes Altena to the low side on West, and West blocks him to the low side. Altena thinking he would go to the low side, but discretion the better part of valor. So we watch these two teammates side by side at the front, but it is in fact, of course, Bunyan who is the leader. And we are under 10 laps to go, 9 remaining. It's Graham Bunyan who leads Julian Altena and Dan Ensch in third place. Ensch now just 1 second back. Will he be able to close this gap on these leaders and be up there for the fight at the end? You know he wants to do it. He wants to get that ALZ.org machine up there into the fight for victory here today. It's been really, really difficult to get all that strategy to play out right for that ALZ.org machine, but he's going to give it a shot here today. This may be one of his biggest opportunities to score a victory this season, and I think Ensch knows that. He's closing in ever so slightly, 1.17 seconds back, Ensch, but it's Altena, and Altena working the high sign on Mike West, who is, boy, you talk about a teammate who's willing to do anything to help his teammate out. Mike West just being a thorn in the side of Altena at the moment, but here comes Altena on the low side of Bunyan. Altena shaking it up, shaking and baking, going on the high side, but not enough to get it done, and Bunyan and West continue to work well as teammates, holding down the front of this race. Six laps remain, and as you can see, Iñigo Mardones also trying to hold himself up there. He's just 1 lap down as well. He just wants to get that lap back somehow. Perhaps if a caution comes out, Mardones will be able to grab that lap back. But either way, it's a two-car battle at the front of this with two lap cars mixed in. Mike West, one of those lap cars who's in the red and black car. In the blue and black car, his teammate Graham Bunyan from Australia. 5 laps remaining. As we see Altena now working the low side on West, and it looks like West may possibly be starting to slip back. We will see. Did look like for a moment Altena had pretty solidly gotten around, and here you go. It's side by side for the lead, and they get into each other a little bit. Contact between the two leaders, Altena and Bunyan. Bunyan with a hip check. Perhaps it was a little bit of net code. Either way, both of these drivers racing from different continents. If you count Mike West in there, that's 3 different drivers from 3 different continents, so you've got to leave a little bit of room. Altena to the low side on Bunyan. 4 laps remaining. It'll be 3 at the line. The 2 blue and black cars fighting it out at the lead. Dan Ensch just 1 second back. Will he have anything to close this gap? You know he wants a podium, but he could be there at the very end. 3 laps remaining, and it's Graham Bunyan leading by a nose over Julian Altena, who is making a hard charge. Someone getting up near the wall as Ensch now closing in on the back of this group. Will Ensch have something to say about it? Will it be Altena? That is the question. Altena taking a look at the back of Bunyan. Bunyan weaving side to side as we have just 2 more laps remaining here at Fontana at the Auto Club Speedway. It's been a fun one so far. Looks like a little bit of a gap now between Altena and the lap cars behind, as Bunyan continues to weave side to side. Altena setting up for a last lap maneuver. Will he have what it takes to do it? Bunyan continuing to try to break that toe. Goes to the inside, goes back to the outside as he prepares for the final time through turns 1 and 2. Altena getting a run in the middle of the corner, has to back out ever so slightly. Bunyan holding the low line. Will it be Graham Bunyan? Will it be Julian Altena as we go through turn 3 and 4 for the final time? It's going to be Graham Bunyan. Julian Altena is making a late move, but he can't do it, and there's your final results. Graham Bunyan takes the victory, a hard-fought victory, as Altena crashes after the checkered flag in second place, and Dan Ensch will take third place and the final spot on the podium as the fireworks go off here in California. What a fireworks finish. Sure hope you enjoyed that one right here on VirtualRacing.Network as Graham Bunyan takes your victory in Fontana. So the fireworks were on track at the same time they were in the air on the last lap as Altena set up for a final lap maneuver that just couldn't be done. He tried, and he was there all race long, but Bunyan able to hold him off. And we'll take a look here at the final results as Graham Bunyan now doing his final victory donuts here. And there are your final results on screen. Stay tuned in just a moment for some post-race commentary from the gang here in the US IndyCar League. Pleasure to be able to cover the group again today, and we'll check here in just a moment and see who is available for us here in the chat room. Stand by for post-race interviews coming up here for the US IndyCar League momentarily. And so it looks like we will have a chance to talk with a couple of our drivers out of the crowd. Why don't we go ahead and grab, well, we've got 4th, 3rd, and 2nd standing by. So let's go ahead and grab 4th place. That's Howard Livingston. I don't know if he's available. Hey, Howard, can you hear me, bud?
Yeah, Trevor, I got you, bud.
What a heck of a eventful race. Looks like you had a fun race. You managed to bring it home in 4th for the Care Camps organization. Talk us through how it went today for you, Howard.
Well, unfortunately, we weren't in the front, but I'll take 4th. Our biggest challenge, or I think, were pit stops, making sure we got them right. And if anything, we were probably a little overly conservative on our pit entries. But anyway, we got in and out of pits every time, so I'm happy about that.
And again, today with just a couple of cautions, that last one bringing you up closer, but just a couple of cautions. You really did have to keep it clean because any mistakes would cost you too much time. You could potentially lose that draft. Just a tiny mistake costing you and keeping you out of being able to fight there at the end. But a fast race up at the front. Still, it's got to feel pretty good for the Care Camps machine to be up there in 4th place. And again, trying to get that 3rd place away in the championship from Jason Lowe. This is just another one of those results, a top 5 that's going to get you closer to that 3rd place in the championship at the end of the season.
Yeah, and obviously Jason, is such a great driver, and he's breathing right down my neck on the 3rd place position. So it's going to be fun to see how this plays out.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing you out here for the rest of the season. Of course, do you have any shout-outs before we move on to our podium finishers of the day?
Yeah, always shout out to StickQuik. Thanks for sponsoring our events, and shout out to all the great drivers. It's such a pleasure running this league.
Absolutely. Clean league, great league, a lot of fun racing out there, and almost got a podium today. And hey, Howard, how cold is it for you down there right now in Florida?
And I'm almost ashamed to say this because it's in the low 50s right now, and I know it's way colder for folks north of us. But most of the homes here don't have furnaces, and so you'll see any of the locals here wearing every piece of clothing they own. We don't own coats really, so it's just layers.
There's layers of t-shirts over each other. What great times down there, Howard. I'm so sorry you have to suffer through some mild winter down there, and we'll look forward to many more of your glorious shots of the beautiful sunsets and the 70-degree temps. Nevertheless, we'll see you here over the next few weeks, and of course ending up with that final race for the Care Camps organization at Indy. That should be a special one. Good luck with the rest of the season, Howard.
Thanks so much, and thanks for doing such an incredible job on broadcast.
Oh, absolutely, my pleasure. That's Howard Livingston joining us there, racing for the Care Camps organization and with the Coconut Castaways, being able to take home a 4th place finish in a very hard-fought race. And that actually gives us a chance to talk to our 3rd place finisher over here, and it is Dan Ensch. Hey, Dan, welcome to a podium finish here, 3rd place for the ALZ.org Last Lap Motorsports Spark VR machine. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Feels pretty good. First thing we got to say is poor pitiful Howard down there in sunny Florida. I know he's going to be forced to wear palm fronds before too long, poor guy.
Be wrapping himself in palm fronds. He says they don't even have coats down there, so they're just like putting multiple layers of shorts and t-shirts together.
It was a good day. A lot of fun today. Good to be back on a podium, and everything just went a lot better than we could have hoped for, really, especially considering I started so far down in the order today. So I'm very happy with that. Had a good fight with Howard, and good job by Graham and Julian up there in front. just too many cars between me and them there in the last part. Too much dirty air for me to get around and try to challenge for the lead at the end there. But man, it was a lot of fun today.
And indeed, how was your strategy working out today? I know we got a couple of cautions, and that probably wreaked havoc on your pit fuel strategy. Were you going for the fuel save today? Did you think today could possibly pay off with a long fuel save, or were you? I know how it looked at the end, but did it play out at the end the same way you thought it would go at the beginning?
No, I got a big break with that last yellow. I was trying to go as fast as I could, and I was almost a lap down. So, yeah, I got a huge break with that last yellow and got some fresh rubber on, and I was a lot better on fresh rubber, so I was able to get by Howard. Thanks to StickQuik and everybody else, thanks to you for putting this on. I got to run. I got some people coming over for the Chiefs game here in a little bit, and I got to finish some baby back ribs.
Well, sounds like you got a full day planned. We won't keep you from that, but thanks for racing with us, and you made it real exciting there at the end. I thought maybe with enough drafting to do, you might be able to make a pass and get up there and play with the boys up in first and second, but it was a great podium finish and great to get ALZ.org up there. Congratulations, Dan, and still some great races for you coming up. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, bud.
Thanks, Trevor. Great job.
Thanks, man. So that is Dan Ensch, my teammate at Last Lap Motorsports, and bringing some great awareness to the ALZ.org, also Alzheimer's Association, and the great things that they are doing to try to bring awareness and hopefully bring an end to Alzheimer's, which is possible. Always go to alz.org and get more information. So now that actually gives us a chance to talk with another driver who made it quite an exciting day. And those of you that were watching and saw a very sharp young man come out of nowhere, apparently taking a shower just beforehand is the way to do it. Hey, Julian, are you there? And hey, congratulations, second place. We didn't think you were going to make the field, and you ended up in second place. You looked racy all day. Must feel pretty good to get that second for Velocity Online Racing.
Yeah, it feels good. Finally a good result in this league. I don't know what I need to do, but I've had an incident in every race that I've been in, it seems. So I got involved in a lap 2 thing, which wasn't ideal, but managed to repair the damage and fight my way back up to the front, which was nice. Everybody's been really clean tonight, so today I should say. It's almost tonight for me here in about 40 minutes, but just been a great race overall. Just a shame about the net cars at the end there, because I think it really interrupted the race at the front there, but that's just the way it goes. I'm not really sure what the point in somebody's fighting for the get a lap back was, but he was 2 laps down. But that's just the way it is. It was a good race though. Graham raced really well, so congratulations to him, of course. It's first time actually racing against him, so good to do that for once. He's actually one of the more aggressive drivers, so Graham, compliments to you. Well done. But yeah, can't wait for my next appearance, whichever race that's going to be.
Well, and speaking of lap cars, I'm not sure if you're familiar because they don't carry the same livery nor the team name on there, but Bunyan and West, as well as Strid and Bowles, are all unofficial teammates working together, possibly over the same Discord.
That explains it,
so,
yes.
and we see that all the time, of course, in official racing and of course league racing, where teammates do want to help out their teammates and keep others from necessarily being able to get up there. But hey, you overcame a lot of that. I mean, I saw a lot of slicing and dicing today. I think you really excited the fans that were watching, and you were able to overcome most of it. In fact, you guys eventually dispatched West, and it was just you racing with Bunyan. And so take us through that last couple of laps. What were you thinking? Maybe 2 laps to go, then you're going to take the white flag. You're still behind Bunyan. He's weaving all over the place. What is your goal at that point chasing Bunyan? Are you thinking, I'm going to set up and try and pass him on the backstretch? Were you just trying to catch the draft at an opportune moment? Were you thinking high side, low side? Did you have a plan for how you were going to do it, or just taking what was coming to you?
Yeah, of course, all race, everybody's playing nice, so I wasn't really expecting Graham to be that aggressive with trying to break the toes, so I was trying to set him up for turns 3 and 4 on the final lap, but I never actually got there because the dirt yellow is just so big. Every time that I tried to go into turn 1 in the last 2 or 3 laps, I tried to kind of get low, and he would cover the low side to give me the dirty air. Then I would try to move up high, but then the error was just so big, so I was up towards the wall. So I lost all the momentum that I tried to set myself up for. So it kind of ruined my attempt at going up the inside for 3 and 4 on the final lap. But yeah, it was a bit much. I'm not used to people leaving that much, but it's legal. So yeah, just great racing, like I said. So not really got any complaints about that one. That was a good race.
Absolutely. Great race. Great to have you in the field and shaking it up a bit. And I'm sure in talking with Graham Bunyan that it might have been an extra little heart murmur as he was not expecting someone besides one of his teammates to come up and challenge him, I'm sure, today. But you gave him all that he could handle. And I think you represented your team very well, Velocity Online Racing. So for those of the fans that want to know where they can catch you next, what's next up for Julian Altena?
Tonight, IES at the Motegi Oval. I'm not really looking forward to it, to be fair. I usually do like the track, but I just don't really feel connected with the car at all, so I'm not really looking forward to the race tonight, but I'm going to try my best there anyway. You can watch that on Sim TV, but yeah, that's up for me personally tonight. Then next week we have the Oval at Motegi as well in my own league, VLR, Velocity Online Racing. You can follow us on Twitter at VelocityOR. You can find all the Discord links over there as well. We have a Euro Series, a main series on Saturdays. The 2005 series is on hold at the moment due to low participation. So if you want to get involved there too and help the numbers, then feel free to sign up to that too. It's all on Saturdays, by the way. The Euro 5 series is at noon. Whenever it's going to restart again, I don't know yet. But Euro Series is at 2 p.m. Eastern US time, which is 8 p.m. Central European time. And you got the main series at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So yeah, like I said, all the Discords can be found on Twitter or on our website on VelocityOnlineRacing.com. A few really good drivers race in it, so if you think you have what it takes to be competitive there as well, there's prize money involved, so just something to maybe think about. Maybe get yourself involved. So
and that is a great talent list, just a full field in your league, and yeah, I mean, you can hear, for those of you out there listening, how much is on the plate of this young man. I can't even believe at 17, I think I was trying to get out the door and go to school and do one thing and go-kart racing, and that was it. And here Julian has his hands in leagues, he's running in multiple series, he's doing great, and things are going well for Julian Altena right now. Congratulations, man. Second place here. Any more shout outs before we let you go for the day and get ready for your Motegi race?
Yeah, obviously you for broadcasting. Also, by the way, for the PMRL stuff that we did, that was great.
You bet, man.
Yeah, and obviously Graham for the great racing and everybody else in the league, the admins involved. I'm actually not really paying attention to the Discord rules right now, but they all know who they are. All the admins of this league, they put on a great show for us here to race in this. So thanks to them. And yeah, that's about it. So thanks.
Well, thank you so much, Julian, and of course, we'll look forward to seeing you whenever you can catch us next. Make sure you're here, especially, well, we got Talladega coming up. That could be fun, but definitely be here for that final race at Indy. It'll be a special one with the Care Camps organization, okay?
I'll be there for Indy. I'm not sure about Dega, though, because I don't own it yet, so I'll have to wait and see.
All right, bud. Well, good luck the rest of today, and have a safe flight over there, okay?
Thanks, man. Have a good day.
You too. So that's Julian Altena, stopping in here, Dutch driver for Velocity Online Racing, coming in second. Of course, that could only mean one thing. We've got one more driver to talk to, and it's the guy that we usually talk to at the end of the race each and every week. But I'll tell you what, Graham Bunyan joining us here in Victory Lane. And hey, Graham, there was a young man from the Netherlands who just gave you everything you could handle and more there in the final stages of this race. Congratulations, though, on prevailing as usual. Graham, you had everything it took, and you came away with victory here. Congrats, man.
Yeah, no, look, congrats to the podium. Well done, guys, and Julian, well done. I'm not normally a weaver. I hate it, absolutely hate it, but I had to try and set myself up to a point where I had to see where he was turning to give him that dirty air to push him back, and that was the only way I could do it. I hate weaving myself, so yeah.
Well, it's, you know, as long as it's fair and legal and they're not going to penalize you for it, as you said, it's part of I mean, talk the fans through what it's like. I mean, you're really trapped when you're running at the front of this. It's not like you can just have a fast car or you can make your adjustments and just walk away from the front of this. The speeds are so great, and the drafting amount of air that you cut through is so great that the following cars can close up from a second and a half back. So you've got to do something to break it, right?
Oh yeah, look, it's, I don't know, the draft in this car used to be at like 0.7 a couple of years ago. Then they, thanks to COVID and real life drivers coming along and saying, hey, this ain't real, then went out to 2 seconds. So yeah, you just got to do whatever you can do to try and break that draft, but you can't. So, you know, I had a 2 second lead, or I think it was like a 3.2 second lead on Julian, but because there was cars in between myself and Julian, you just got no chance of driving away, which is a bit heartbreaking, because you do go in and you do the right things and you come back out and you think, yep, I'm good. But it just takes that lap car or that lead car to be in between, you know, first and third, and it's all together. It's that 2 second draft is just way too much, especially at Auto Club.
Yeah, and indeed. And fortunately, though, you were able to get a little bit of help from Mike West, who, boy, he really fought hard to get back on that lead lap, and it came at the expense of Mr. Altena. But nevertheless,
well, it nearly come at the expense of me.
I
nearly ran into the back of him. I didn't know where he was going. It was just dead silent in TeamSpeak. We don't use Discord. We're still old. We're old farts, man. We use TeamSpeak. Come on.
It's the OG chat software. I remember when it came out. It took me a while when I came back to sim racing to figure out there was this new thing that everyone was using, and I was like, yeah, right, we use TeamSpeak. But anyway, yeah, well, it wasn't David Stritt up there to work with you this time. It was Mike West, but still good to have some friends in the field. And of course, even Ryan Bowles, another one of your teammates, was up there working with you, but they all fell away there at the end, and it left you to do battle with Altena. And as you said, you know, you had to weave, but I think this is just another case of the grizzled old veteran being able to put one up on the young man who thought he could possibly take the victory. But for how long, Graham? How many times can you keep pulling it off these victories before someone comes through and gets that victory at the end? Just another masterful race. This is one, as you said, with that draft, you can't escape from anybody. And so to be able to be at the top at the end, it's quite an accomplishment, and you just continue to show your mastery in these cars, and tonight was no different. Congratulations on another solid victory, man.
Look, you know, each week it's great to be finishing up the top there, and I know there's a lot of young ones in there as well, and it keeps me on my game. It keeps me young. But you know, I turned it up another notch, because I think it was lap 91 I got pinned down in a bit of a tap, which I actually thought I was going to rotate upwards and actually take both myself and Julian out. So I sort of said, hey, don't pinch me down, and yeah, it was from there I changed my game, and I got a little bit more aggressive.
Well, this was another special race, and of course this is going to perhaps solidify your place in the championship with David Stritt's poor finish. Nevertheless, we look forward. We'll have another few more races, and of course, Talladega, there isn't much you can do about. If there's one where you're even more helpless to defend against charging drivers, then you know, Talladega is about as difficult as it is to protect from that draft. But we do have Indy at the end of the season. We're looking forward to that. Any other shout outs before we let you go today, and anything else that you're looking forward to as this season comes to a close?
Oh, look, it's shout out to everybody that turns up week in, week out, newcomers and the old ones that have stuck by. And, you know, it's great to do each week. As the world's in a crazy state now, you know, you get away from that reality. So, you know, everybody, StickQuik, Richard, you know, all the guys, David Stritt for working hard on the setups, Mike, Ryan, everyone, Julian for showing up and keeping me on my toes.
Well, there you go, Graham. Awesome, great done, well done again today. And of course, we do have Dega coming up next week, then Kansas, and our final race at Indy. Stay tuned, everybody out there, for 3 more awesome races here in the US IndyCar League on VirtualRacing.Network. And always great to have you here in the booth with us, Graham. I know you've got another hard week set in the healthcare industry, and you know, you get taxed there, but it's always great to blow off some steam, come out here at the end of your night after the end of a difficult week, and get a victory and be able to go into your next week knowing that you are the reigning champ, you're leading the points, and you're working hard towards a third championship, and you'll possibly get a chance to tie Jason Lowe with that. So congratulations, man, and we will look forward to seeing you do it here again a third time in the series.
Nah, no worries. Thank you very much, and thanks for everything you do. And again, thanks to Julian for the hard racing.
Absolutely. Well, there you go, Graham Bunyan joining us from Australia. At one time, we had 3 different drivers from 3 different continents racing for first place, but here you go. Graham Bunyan takes our victory at Auto Club Speedway, and make sure you subscribe here on VirtualRacing.Network, like this video for more, tick that little bell, and you'll get notified of all of our upcoming broadcasts. And so, of course, until next week, my name is Trevor Greenfield. I've been with you all day since and all season, and since season 10, be with you through the end of this one. We'll see you again next week, same time, same channel. Until then, have a great rest of your week. Enjoy whatever you're watching in your part of the world, whether it's football or the end of the 24, and we'll see you next time. Till then, bye-bye. Have a great one.